So this is the weekly review for the second trading week of January. This week I had no interest in majors, so I focused on indices, and I only had like 2 trades on indices, and I made some mistakes, some inaccuracies basically. The framework for the setup for the week was on the daily context. We had this pivot low here. I was looking for an SMT for price to sweep it and give us an SMT with any of the assets. Between NQ, ES and Dow. Eventually we had the sweep, but Dow was the stronger asset. ES was also strong at some point. It was also had the SMT while NQ swept the low. I was looking to trade either ES or Dow. That was the plan for the week. This was on the 4-hour time frame. We had trapped order flow on Nasdaq. ES, we had a trapped order flow on ES too. Dow did not have a trapped order flow, so I was looking more convinced for Dow. The only position we had was at this point, and if we got an entry before this point, we would simply break even the trade. Eventually ES swept that low too, so we had no SMT on ES, so that was the only stronger asset to trade, since it still maintained the SMT. And on the 4-hour we had already used this fair value gap here, so there was no trapped order flow and it was looking good for longs. This was the 1-hour on ES. I didn't execute on ES because of the SMT and the lows. Looking back now, I think it should have been better to execute on ES. I was waiting for Dow to create a fair value gap for me to execute off of, or it's created none, and I made a mistake. This is where I made the inaccuracy. I was anticipating a 1-hour gap at some point. It was an anticipation basically when this candle was forming. I was anticipating a gap creating there, so I was waiting for the setup to create, so I would place it, and I placed the order right around 5-minute mark, and the gap closed, and I did not delete the order. I left the order like that. That was the mistake on my part, because later we had the 1-hour gap. I should have taken it from this gap instead of that execution I did here, which is the inaccuracy on this page. Was due to impatience. Should have taken it from this gap or taken ES. That was the first trade I did on that was the first swing trade I took for the week, the first setup I took. It ended up being a winner, but I also made another inaccuracy there, which is cutting my winner short. Since I executed on Dow, this was the entry. Since I took it on Dow on the bad entry here, the stop loss was low and the target was basically 2R, which was really far. If I had waited for this gap to form before I took it, it would have been an easy 3R trade, even if my stop loss was somewhere down here. Which the trade ran up to 1.8R. And this was why I closed the setup, which is also a mistake. I should have left it and let it run. It's just mistakes on my part for the week, and I'll try to correct them from next week. Just sticking to the process. The theme and then the lesson for the week is just loyalty to the process under pressure. I think the pressure of missing the setup made me execute when nothing was actually given. I was blaming the Dow for actually being the bad pair, but it was my execution that was really bad. I could have executed on ES, because ES had another SMT with Nasdaq and it was stronger than Nasdaq. I could have taken that instead, but my execution was not the best here, so that's not Dow's fault. It was my own fault for executing what was not there basically. Then during the intraday, the second trade I took was on Friday. We had a nice intraday setup there, a clean setup too on Friday. But on Friday, since we already established a bullish bias on ES, Nasdaq, and NQ, I was looking to trade it from a bullish context to take it towards the highs. And before equities open, we had this 4-hour gap on Dow. The 4-hour gap was disrespected on ES, so I was looking at the lows or this low for like a potential sweep for an SMT. And we had the 4-hour gap on ES on NQ, my bad. During equities open, we swept the low on ES, I think. Yeah, on ES we swept that low. Okay, on Dow filled the gap, the 4-hour gap. And yes, okay, this 1 hour for pivot context. We had SMT with Dow. Dow was weaker here because it swept this low, and we had NQ holding that low. We also had ES holding that low, so I was looking to trade either NQ or ES. We had a 15-minute track order flow. I was waiting for it to get cancelled out first, but eventually this was still ES, and this was the executions. Eventually, like, what happened? I think ES also swept that low, so we had the SMT. I don't know why I didn't record it. We had the SMT between Dow and ES, and ES became stronger. No 15-minute track order flow on US 30, 5-minute impulse shift, and this was the execution. No track order flow. We had a 15 minutes impulse. Wait, did I execute without the SMT being weaker? Let me check. It ended up being a loss though. We had this loss here, but let me cross check. So I think I executed because we had SMTs at the lows. Let's check the 1 hour. This was the low. Yeah, ES also swept that low. Yeah, so we had no SMT there, no longer. The SMT did not hold. NQ also swept that low. So basically, it's not a bad trade. Just it was a clean setup. It was a clean setup too. I don't think I've even journaled it yet. I will have to journal it after this review. I don't think I journaled it. I have to journal it after this review. So that was all for the weekly review. The main thing for the week is loyalty to the process under pressure. I think I fumbled under that pressure that day, or pressure of missing out on that trade, that I actually made the trade itself bad. So I have to like stay loyal to the process no matter what pressure I'm under. Try to just eliminate that idea of fear of missing out from the trade and just wait until it gives something. I plan to be manually executing on indices mostly, especially on intraday setup because it moves very aggressive sometimes. So if I see a setup next week or this week, sorry, this Sunday, if I see a setup this week and it has like a potential to move, I might execute it like off market order instead of off like limit orders. That's the one change I will make. I said I won't trade US 30, but I don't think US 30 was the issue. US 30 was not the issue last week. It was my own performance. I fucked up there, so I made the mistake there. So it's not really a US 30 something. I think I've taken a few trades on US 30 on this account. Just 2 trades. That's weird, really. Just 2 trades on US 30. January 15, which was last week. Just 2 trades. Damn, just two setups on US 30 and both swing. That's really short trade. But with this SMT was stronger on it. I think it played as well. I'll have to check it again. I don't know why I didn't record the. I think I remember this trade. I think it played that well. Yeah. So it's not really a US 30 issue. It was an execution issue, a performance issue on my part, and I have to fix that next week. I'll have to record the weekly upload later and upload it like a few hours from now. That was all for the weekly review for the second trading week of January. Hopefully I'll do better next week and perform better under pressure. This context has not ended yet though, so until it ends, until we sweep out that high on any of the assets, I think I will still be looking for long zeros. Yeah.